Hello and welcome to Easy Projects. So I've got a lot of questions recently asking what CAD software I use for my 3D models for the 3D printer. And for the past 6 months or so, the answer has been Fusion 360 from Autodesk. And the reason is very simple. It's because it's completely free to use for non-profit work and even for startups and small businesses until you make a certain amount of revenue. I think it's $100,000, but don't quote me on that. All you have to do is create an account on their site and then download the program. And once you've downloaded it, you can get a free license. And also, if you have a business, it's very cheap compared to some of the other programs. So let's dive into it. Once you have downloaded and installed Fusion 360, you'll start up with this screen here showing the empty work area. So the purpose of this video is just to show you what the program can do and how the functions work and so on. So I'll just be creating a simple little object for 3D printing, and then you can basically just follow me through the creation. So Fusion 360 can work with components, so you can join more objects together and link them and make joints and swing parts back and forth and stuff like that, just like SolidWorks or any other program. So to make a new component, we can right click and press new component on the project here, and we can save the project if we want. That would be a good idea. But basically, when you've made a component, you can just start drawing. So the first thing we'll do is a sketch. Then you select the plane on which you want to create the sketch. You can either press here, or you can rotate the view by clicking this cube. And by the way, the thing we'll be creating is a wheel for my Arduino robot. I've got some geared motors and I want some wheels that can fit them. So I already measured out that the wheel should be 35 millimeters in diameter. So to create the 3D object, we first need a 2D sketch, and we press the sketch button here and selected the plane, as you saw. And now we can create a circle, a center diameter circle, press the origin, and then just type 35 millimeters. We could also just press C on the keyboard to create a circle. And then we want the rim to be, let's say, 4 millimeters, so 8 from 35, that'll be 27. Then we'll need the center hub in here. So another circle. Let's make that, let's see, 10 millimeters. 11 maybe. And then the hole for the axle is also a circle, but it has some flats. And the circle is 5.6 millimeters. I measured that on the motor shaft. And then you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. And you can pan around by holding down the mouse wheel. And if you want to rotate the view, you can hold down Shift while you hold down the mouse wheel, and that will allow you to rotate the view. And to create the flats here, we will need a line. And as you can see here, it can snap to other lines or circles or even the grid. So we click our inner circle, and if you keep it somewhat horizontal, you can see you get a parallel symbol there in the middle. And we can snap it over here, and we can create another one just like that. And then in the center here we can create another line, and we want to use this as a reference, and then by pressing the X button we can make it into a construction line, and this way it's not part of the actual sketch. So now we can start to put in some dimensions, and you can find that in the sketch menu, sketch dimensions, or just press the D key And we want to set the dimensions between this line and this line, so we just click those two. And we want that size to be 3.8 divided by 2. So 1.9. And it moved the construction line. So to fix that, we can press the fix on fix over here and select that line. And now it should work. Yeah. And the same for this one. So now we want to get rid of the excess here, and we can trim that away with the trim tool. It's also the T key. So now we have the shape of our shaft left here. And so now we'll have to create some spurs to join the center hub with the rim. And there's probably a lot of different ways you could do that, but since I only want 4, I think it'll be just as quick just to use lines. So I'll make a line for every 90 degrees. And then I'll make some lines from the inner part of the rim to the center. And now by pressing D we can place some dimensions. And if you press 2 lines that join in a single point, you'll get the angle between them. So I don't know, this is 10, so 15 degrees. Yeah, that looks fine. And as you can see, if you keep the mouse in inside the angle, you get the small angle, and if you do it outside, you get the larger angle. And you could step and repeat these, so you don't have to do the same thing many times. But since this is just these 4, I think it's almost as quick doing it this way. And now we can just select these and hit delete. We only needed those for to set the angle. And now we need to trim the excess in here. So we press T and just sweep around like that and that. Yeah, I like that. So now we can start to make this 2D sketch into 3D, and we'll do that by extruding it. And you'll find that in the modify menu here. It's actually the first icon, press pull, but there's many different things you can do, but we'll be using this one. So the lowest part is going to be the spurs. So I'll select these. And then we will extrude in the direction of the arrow here. So positive will be this way and negative would be that way. Let's see, I think I want these 4mm. Yeah. And now you can see our sketch disappeared after we did this, but we still want to extrude the other parts. So we go to the component and no, not the bodies. The bodies are the solid pieces and sketches are the 2D sketch that we just made. You can see the light bulb is off, but if we turn it on, we can see it again. And then the rim, I think we want that, let's say 15mm. How does that look? Yeah, that'll do. And then we want the center hub. And I measured the motor, it's the shaft is 8mm, so we'll just make it 8. And now we have a basic wheel or a rim, but I don't like these sharp corners here, so we'll add some fillets to make it look a little bit prettier. I'm actually going to make this wheel kind of reversed, so what you see here is going to be the front. Normally you would have this as the front, but since I'm 3D printing it, I want this side to be flat, so it has good contact with the print bed. And also the motor actually kind of works out better if this is the inside. So we'll just make this side pretty. And to create the fillet, we can go to the modify and fillet. And then we just select the edges that we want to round over. The fillet can both add material or remove material. So if you selected this line, it would remove some material from the corner, and this inside corner, it would add material. So, but let's just start by selecting these. And also these should be the same, probably. Then we can specify a radius, 1 millimeter. Yeah, that looks fine. So now we got all those, and by pressing F we can add more fillets. And now you can see it will, just by selecting this line, it will select all the way around here. We select these and then, how about 1 millimeter? Yeah. And I guess we could do this inside as well. Or maybe I need a screw there. Nah, we'll just do 0.5 millimeter. So now it looks a bit prettier than it did before. But it's slick tires. So if you run these on a wooden floor or tiles or something, it would probably slip if you have a lot of torque. So we could do something to this surface to give it a little more grip. Perhaps you wanted to put rubber bands or O-rings or something around the tire. So we would like a channel going all the way around. There's an easy way to do that. If you click one of the side planes up here, say the right plane, and you want to create a sketch, then you can see that the right plane is this one. So if you press that, it allows you to draw on that plane. So say we wanted 2 O-rings, we can go to sketch, a circle, we just press C. And then if we zoom in, it will snap to the grid here. Let's make it 1 millimeter diameter. Something like that. And then we wanted to have one down here. Oh, I don't bother measuring this. Yeah, it looks okay. At least from the fillet and down, from this side and up. So what we want to do now, let's go to create. Oops, I didn't mean to press that one. Create, and then revolve. And then we want to select the profiles, this one and this one. And then we need an axis. I forgot to create that actually. You go to construct, and then it's axle through cylinder. It's this one, axle through cylinder, cone, or torus. And then you just select any cylindrical face with the center where you want the axis. So it could be this one or this one. So now we got our axis. We go back to revolve and select these two. And then the axis is this one. And then it wants to do this. You can either cut it or you can join. So it will create some, what are they called? Dimples. Oh. But we want to remove, so we will select cut and then press OK. Now you can see we got these channels all the way around. But I want to coat this tire with rubber actually, so I don't want to do that. So I'll just press undo. I think I still want something to increase the traction a little bit, but I want them going in the other direction. So I want some dimples or whatever they're called going this direction. So I'm just thinking how I want to do this. So I don't think I want them going all the way to the edge. We will construct a offset plane, and we'll just select any of these, and then the offset, I think 1 millimeter should be good enough. Yeah. So let's see, we have 1 millimeter there. This is 15, and this was a 1 millimeter radius, so another 1 millimeter from that, 15, that's 12 millimeters. Okay. But anyway, we want to sketch on this plane that we just made. And then, like we did for the other one, we want to create a circle here. Yeah, it actually doesn't matter if it snaps to the grid, as long as it just snaps to this circle here. I'll just do it as close to 90 as possible. It doesn't really matter. And then I want them fairly small, let's say 0.5 millimeter. Yeah, that'll do. And then we want to extrude it. So Q for press pull, and then 12 millimeters. That looks about right. So I think we should round over these edges also. So we can do that with a fillet by pressing F and selecting this one. So it's a 0.5 millimeter radius, so 0.25 millimeters should be a full, yeah. And now I want to step and repeat this all the way around the circumference. So we select all these. And then we go to create a pattern and a circular pattern. So the objects, I already selected those, and then the axis. No, I removed it, didn't I? When I undid the other parts. Yeah. I wonder, can I actually just select that one? Yeah, I could. So you don't actually have to make the axis. I can figure it out just by selecting the cylindrical face. Quantity. How about, let's say 90? No. 120. Yeah, that looks more like it. Yeah, I like that. So now we can go and hide this sketch again. So I think we're done, actually. Now we can right click any bodies and make an STL file. Or if we had more bodies in here and we wanted to make an STL file of the whole thing, we could right click the component and just save as STL. And the refinement, I set that to high, but I honestly think medium would be okay for 3D printing. The high creates a lot of polygons. We can try to preview it. And this takes a long time actually. And if we zoom in here, you can see even on these 0.5 millimeter radius cylinders here, we have a lot of polygons. Much finer detail than any 3D printer would be able to make. So I honestly think the medium would be just as good. Then we can press OK and we can save the file. And then you could open it up in MakerWare or Cura or whatever you use for your 3D prints. But of course you might not want to 3D print this object. You might want to mill it out or turn it or whatever. And for that you would of course need some CAM software to set up the toolpath. And as it so happens, that's built right into Fusion 360. So if you go over here where it says model, you can select the CAM. Now, since I don't have a CNC machine, lathe or mill, I haven't really used this CAM software. But if you want to see how it works, you can check out NYC CNC. It's a YouTube channel by John Saunders, and he does a lot of tutorials on how to use both the CAD and the CAM part of Fusion 360. And it's worth checking out if you want to learn how to use this program. Anyway, I think this is it for this video. I just wanted to show you how you can make a simple part like this one and get it printed out. And we can take a look at the printed part once it's done. Yeah. So here it is. It ended up looking half decent, I think. Of course, this is the back, which would normally be the front. And let's see if it goes on the motor. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't run entirely true, but I guess that could be fixed. Yeah, so that's it. It didn't take very long to make it at all. It took far longer to print it than to actually make the design. Anyway, if you liked the video, please give it the thumbs up, and thanks for watching this video. See you.